So hi guys, I am very overwhelmed and honored to have Miss Kinjal Shah. She's a very old friend of mine. We're schoolmates by that matter, and she has gone on to do her MBA from IIM Kozhikode, which is the center of the topic that we are going to talk today. Uh, Her journey during school days, of course, I knew that she was a topper. She was a scholar during school days, but after that, how she has picked up and went on to do her UG and then went on to prepare for CAT, and then went on to get into one of the best colleges in the country to pursue her MBA. So, Kinjal, again, thanks a lot for coming on a short notice. I know you guys have a very hectic schedule out there, and it means a lot that you have taken out your valuable time for us.
Thanks, Shubham, for having me here, and happy to talk through today, answer as many questions as your students have,
Yeah,
and even offline, if anyone needs any support, I'd be happy to chat with them. That helps.
right, right. So, Kinchal, let me just get started with the cat thing, okay? Because that is a very hot topic. Usually, ये time के around ही people start preparing for cat, जो third years में होते हैं ना या final years में होते हैं, so that November में they can give it a good shot. So I have some experience in cat, and initially around पहले दो attempt तो मेरे अच्छे गए नहीं थे. It was bad. Did not expect to fall below 90, and I was very bad at it. So how was your journey of cat like? How did you go about your verbal ability, cons, and DILR? Can you recall any of that? What was your mantra while preparing for CAT?
So, my journey was not like very usual as compared to most students, right? Because I did my CA first and then opted to do
Right.
an MBA. Most people who do MBA in India, at least on the top IIMs, are mostly engineers, right? If you see the batch mix.
Yeah.
So their journey would be slightly different, wherein usually, as you mentioned, in the third year, people start preparing for CAT and they write their CAT because after fourth year, they can join directly if they want to join as a fresher.
Right.
But either case, I think what works for sure for CAT and what does not work is that it's all about practice. Okay, the number of questions you solve, the number of mock test papers you solve, that is the only mantra, in my opinion, to crack
Right.
CAT. So if you're doing it along with your college or along with your job, I understand, you can only do it during post office hours or post, college sessions or over the weekends. But even then, I think the only idea is to solve as much as possible each of the three the modules, right?
Right.
Be it bonds, be it DILR, be it verbal ability.
Verbal
So the
ability.
more you practice and the more you do a timed practice, right? So,
Right.
like for example, a 1 hour mock test for verbal ability or a 1 hour mock test for DILR, that's how you get to know, okay, in an actual CAT exam, this is the kind of questions I'm going to get. Which are the questions that I should skip? For example, if I'm not able to solve it in the first go, where I should spend some more time or where I should like maybe come back to it later because there's negative marking also, right? So you need to ensure that you don't get stuck up on something, you don't spend too much time trying to solve a question that you might end up doing wrong as well, right? Because
Right.
you're under the pressure. So yeah, so I think practice is the only way to crack CAT. um,
Right.
um, you asked me about my preparation. So I kind of, like I said, because did it immediately after my CA, I only had 3 months at hand to prepare for CAT.
Right.
So then those 3 months, I went all in. I did not opt for a job on the side. I said I will
Okay.
do 100% focused studies for CAT.
Right.
And that's what I did. I did join a class as well. So
Right.
I had opted for IMS.
Yeah.
I don't think like I'm not uh, promoting IMS here, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying
Yeah. Yeah.
whether you opt for IMS, you opt for time,
Yeah.
whichever classes you opt for, I think they do have different kinds of batches, right? At least they used
Right.
to have during my time. So they have weekend batches, they have, these focused 3, 4
Correct.
month batches as well, or they have ongoing batches as well. So whatever suits your schedule, you can opt for it. And but I think the classes really helped because they also had many mock tests,
Yeah.
which I could solve at my own time. So that really helped me prepare for CAT. And the classes also helped me for post CAT preparations as well, right?
Right.
So
Right.
they did conduct
GDPI.
mock GDs,
Yeah.
yeah, all of that, yeah.
Right. And if I remember, you were in IMS Borivali. Right. Uh, how many mock tests do you think is an appropriate number for a particular candidate, or there's no such number? Like in my opinion, I had a target that I'll complete at least 25 to 30 mocks. During nowadays, what happens is the pattern of CAT has been drastically changed. So it's become very short. During our time, it used to be a 3 hour long, marathon.
Yeah,
DILR एक घंटा
yeah,
ये एक घंटा वो घंटा. So
Arvana,
अभी
yeah.
yeah, so now that it has drastically, मतलब almost 50% ही cut short कर दिया है time length and number of questions. So what do you think? How many mock tests are in general you think are good enough to go?
I think there is no one right answer for this, Shubham. It totally depends on an individual's strength
Hmm.
areas, right? So, for example,
Right.
if you're good at quants, then maybe you need lesser number of mock tests for quants. But
Hmm.
कहीं पे अगर आपका weak point है, तो then maybe you need to focus more on that. So you need to see the pattern, right? Once you
Right.
start giving mock tests, you will get to see कि okay, this area is where I'm struggling. यहाँ पे मेरी negative marking ज़्यादा आ रही है. I'm sorry, I'm
Hmm.
using Hindi as well in between.
No, no, it's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, so I think you need to see that pattern for your journey, right? That where
Right.
the areas where you're struggling as a candidate, and those are the areas that you should focus on more.
Hmm.
Maybe more mock tests for that particular category, and
Right.
not just mock test. Like at least some of these classes they also have like section wise within the section also basically topic wise
Ah, yes.
practice I don't know
Action tests, I think, are there. Yes.
sessions or whatever you can test basically, yeah, which focus on, so for example within verbal ability, if there is one particular topic
Yep.
of say grammar which you're struggling with, then you might get specific tests pertaining to that topic as well. So if
Hmm.
you're able to figure out what are your pain points, um, I think that is your first step in this journey.
Right. Right. Now, having talked a lot on CAT, I would like to know that you went on to do CA, which is already a very hectic program. You have successfully passed it. Then, what was the motivation to get into an IIM straight away after that? Because I think 90% of the people will be motivated to get a job, just continue with it. They don't want to study anymore. So, what was the motivation behind you, targeting IIMs and getting into an MBA straight away?
See, I think I come from a business family, so I've always wanted to pursue business studies myself. So that's the reason I did not opt for science after school, but instead opted for commerce also. So
Okay.
that was something very personal, and like um, yeah, that was the underlying objective all along. So it was very clear in my mind that I wanted to pursue business studies. Now the question was whether I should do it right away after CA or whether I should, maybe work for 2 years and then opt for it. At that point in time, I opted for, you know, uh, going into it directly after clearing CA. But in hindsight, I also feel that the wise choice would have been maybe to work for 1.5 to 2 years
Okay.
and then opt for business studies. The
Okay.
only reason why I say it is that once you work post your undergraduate under graduation, you're able to figure out what kind of things I like doing, what I don't like doing, because what you see in business studies
You're paused, I think.
you know most people want to do, you can't at least figure out what you don't want to do. So it
Right.
narrows down the scope for you that place. So
Right.
yeah, I think but for me I think it was always clear that I wanted to pursue business studies.
Good, good, good. That's a very good perspective that you have given to a lot of students who have this dilemma. A very good point made by you. And about the life at IIM Kozhikode, I have, certainly seen it in photos, videos, reels. That's a very beautiful place. It's in the hill region, and students absolutely have a blast over there. So, what was your life like, and how hectic an MBA is over there? Life of a student in general.
I think life of an MBA student in general is very hectic.
Right.
But there are phases, okay? So it's not like the entire 2 years are going to be hectic. The
Hmm.
first 6 months are definitely like extremely hectic. Like nobody can even imagine that life would be this hectic. Because in the first 6 months, you're trying to still settle in into a new place. You're trying to, make sense out of some new subjects or new topics that you've never studied in your life in the past. So you're trying to, make do with that. You're trying to prepare your CV for your summer internship. And in order to do that, people also want to, join some clubs, committees, etc., to build their PORs, extracurriculars for a better CV, right? So basically, everyone's trying to do everything during the first 6 months. And actually, the biggest element of all of this is that your summer internship interviews are going to happen. So you need to definitely prepare for that also. So it is a difficult ride for the first 6 months, but I would say that it's you're not alone in that journey, right? Like 300, 400 people in your batch are going through the exact same phase. So everyone, sort of like, they pass through it together, I would say. It's a mad ride, but definitely a memory for life. Um, and I think the college also does a lot, right, to help you. Like
Yeah.
the senior year students who are running various committees, they will help you do your CV preparations. They will help you do case study preparations. They will help you prepare for GDs, doing some mock GDs, etc. So the college and the way the program is structured, there are multiple people supporting you throughout the first 6 months, like I said. So everyone in a way sails through. Post that, I think things become slightly lighter once placements, internship placements are done. Exams are also done. Then things sort of try to settle in. At least during my times, the first year was still a bit difficult because everyone used to try to maintain a good GDPI, because that would help
Yeah.
you get selected for an abroad sort of a student exchange program.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, so that struggle was also there, that you wanted to get a good GDPI. Sorry, not GDPI. So what am I saying? Basically, your scores, right? So you wanted to
Yeah.
get a good score
CGPA.
so that you CGPA, sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
completely blanked out there. But yeah, you wanted
Mhm.
to get a good CGPA so that
Right.
you could opt for an abroad student exchange program in the second year.
Mm.
So yeah, first year is generally a bit more hectic as compared to the second year. In the second year, um, I think everyone's settled in. They know the pace of the program. They know how things work. The only hectic part of the second year is actually the final placements, right? Because that's
Ach-
your ultimate goal, that the reason why you opted for an MBA.
Right, right, right.
So that's the
So I don't
only part
remember
where which is
exactly.
very hectic.
Okay. I don't remember exactly, but were you a part of exchange program? I think so. You had one semester exchange, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, and the last question is, probably you can shed some light on that is, usually there's a, issue with people who are doing engineering and science side that they're not good in verbal. ठीक है, कुछ ना कुछ एडवांटेज किसी को होता है, किसी कोई कॉन्ट्स में अच्छा होता है वर्बल में, बट मैंने देखा है कि ज्यादा करके इंजीनियर्स दे स्ट्रगल इन वीआरसी बिकॉज कैट का वीआरसी इज वेरी ट्रिकी कंपेयर टू लाइक एनी अदर एग्जाम लाइक एमबीए सीईटी वगैरह इन मैट, उसके कंपैरिजन में थोड़ा सा ट्रिकी होता है बिकॉज इट्स वेरी वेरी कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव. ओके, यू हैव टू कॉम्प्रिहेंड इट वेरी प्रॉपरली. And then again, I hear apart from commerce people not being generalistic, not being very specific over here, being very generalistic कि they struggle in cons, they want to do good in cons more. दोनों का एकदम contrasting opinion होता है. How did you manage that contrast, or you did not have any issues with that? Because nowadays I'm hearing that there are a lot of demands going on to the IIM committee that you have to either reduce cons or you have to do something because it's an unfair advantage to engineers. So what is your take on that?
See, I think to generalize this, I'm not sure how much that would be the case. But see, for me personally, I did struggle with some topics within quant.
Right, right,
Okay, not all. Because for us commerce students, we sort of leave quants after class 12, right?
right,
Uske baad we're not, we don't study quants at all. So to then start on it after 3 years is a bit of a challenge. So I also did struggle with some topics within quants, not all. But for those, what I did is like I said, because of I did undertook so many mock tests, I was able to figure out which are the kind of topics which I can after practice sort of do something about it, or something that no matter how much I try, I am not going to able to crack it. So for example, geometry I think was one area which I really struggled with. So when those kind of questions came in cat, I did not spend too much time on it to avoid
right,
negative marking, to avoid losing
right.
time, and I
Hmm.
quickly skipped ahead, right? So that's what I tried to do, because I think the biggest factor to take care of is the negative marking, right? Like
Right, right.
if you do it wrong, you might lose the points that you actually got from solving some other questions right as well, right? So it's better to avoid a few questions if you know that okay, this is 100% something I will not be able to solve. It helps you save time. It helps you save points as well.
Perfect, perfect. That gives a very good explanation for students who are struggling in their mocks. Probably एक plateau हो चुका है score. So you need to save some time, change the strategy, decide for the topics that you're good with and just
Exactly.
stick to them. Stick to your, strong points. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. We have shedded a lot of light. I mean, you have shedded a lot of light on CAT, your journey, how you prepared, and shared some valuable insights as well for the upcoming aspirants and generations who are going to watch this video and aspire to get into IIM to pursue their MBA or any other flagship program from IIMs for that matter. So again, Kinjal, thanks a lot for being here and taking out your valuable time helping out the community. Am I audible?